Do you find yourself buying more inventory than you can list? Have you ever gone sourcing while you have unlisted inventory at home? Do you suffer from FOMO or fear of missing out if you skip the thrift store today? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you may be suffering from DPS or death pile syndrome. It affects 9 out of 10 resellers, so just know you are not alone. In today's video, I'm going to break down what a death pile is, how you can avoid DPS, and if you stick around to the end, I'm going to share my strategy that I use to overcome death pile syndrome. So, what is a death pile? A death pile is a term resellers use to describe unlisted inventory that is sitting in a pile. These items often sit for long periods of time and remain unlisted. More times than not, we find ourselves saying things like, we don't have the time to list this stuff. However, we then find ourselves back out at the thrift stores, yard sales, garage sales, estate sales, buying more inventory to add to the death pile. Sure, we all have excuses for why this death pile even started in the first place. I'm stockpiling for Q4. Inventory always runs dry, so I like to have a backup. I found a deal I just could not pass up. Whatever the excuse is, DPS is a serious issue that affects 9 out of 10 resellers, and we should do something to change this problem. Let's think about Walmart for a minute. Do you think Walmart gets shipments of products in and just lets it sit in the back storage room? Does Walmart order more products even if their store is already at max capacity? Of course not. Walmart carries just the right amount of inventory to supply the customer demand. This does mean that Walmart has a little bit of extra in the back so that they can restock as items sell out. However, they don't have this huge death pile of items that have never hit the floor or never will hit the floor. They make sure they have just the right amount of inventory on hand to supply the local customer demand. Now, why would we ever run our reselling businesses different to this? Why would we have inventory that's sitting on a floor, sitting in a pile, sitting in a bin somewhere that has never been listed and never has the opportunity to be sold because customers never see these items? Because if it's unlisted, no one is coming to your house, no one's coming to your garage or storage unit and saying, hey, can I buy some of that stuff you have unlisted? They don't even know it exists, so they'll never buy it. So why do we run our reselling businesses like this? Now, I'm all for having extra inventory. I personally like to have at least a week of listings ready to go so that if I want a day off or if something comes up and I can't create listings on that day, I have listings in my draft bank that are ready to go live. I love this strategy because it takes pressure off of me. Any particular day that I go thrifting or to a yard sale, I never feel the pressure to actually have to pick up items to resell. I can go out and say, hey, no, this whole next week is covered. I don't actually need stuff. I'm only going to pick up the good stuff. It's part of my strategy of not picking up garbage when I go out sourcing. However, the key here is I actually have a plan. I actually still bring those items home and they're still listed, they're just in drafts. For me, draft listings are items that I've already taken the photos, I've already created the listing, I've already found the price point, and I've already put the item back away in storage so that when it sells, I can easily find the item. It's not just sitting in a pile somewhere and I'm like, oh, that's my draft pile instead of death pile. So why do I use drafts? Why don't I just list everything as soon as I get it? Well, for me personally, it seems like the eBay algorithm actually likes daily listings. So instead of me having to find items every single day and having to list items every single day, I like to have drafts to give me a little bit of breathing room. I want to be able to reward that eBay algorithm every day by listing new items, but I don't want to actually have to go through the steps of listing these items. This means that I could say, oh, I have a death pile or a draft pile, but no, I have draft listings. They're already in my draft bank and they're ready to go live. All I have to do is push a single button and those will be launched. This isn't some weird pile that I'm like, oh, I'm going to list that tomorrow. I'm going to list this next week. There's a plan in place for these drafts. The second part of my plan is to actually have a plan. So when items come in my door, I immediately separate them into two different categories. Because I do my items in batches, some days I'll list clothing, some days I'll list hard goods. So when items come in my door, they get separated into those two different categories. Clothing will go into a pile where it will then go be washed and then be brought in to be photographed, listed, and put away. Hard goods will go into a pile where they will come in and they will be tested if they need to be, they'll be cleaned if they need to be, and then they'll be photographed, listed, and put away. This doesn't mean that I have this weird massive pile of stuff that I don't know what I'm going to do with. Yes, I have a pile of clothing, and yes, I have a pile of hard goods. However, these are put in bins and there's a plan for these items. That means maybe tomorrow I'm not listing clothing, so yes, there's a death pile of clothing for today. However, what I'm doing is I'm working on the hard goods today, and then tomorrow I might work on the clothing. It all just depends on what inventory I'm getting in and how much of the inventory I'm getting in. But the key is to have a plan in place for what these items are doing and what the next step is for these items, whether it's testing, cleaning, photographing. They all move together throughout my whole system because I like to work in batches. If you're interested in how I move products along my assembly line, I highly recommend checking out this video here where I break down step by step how clothing moves throughout my process. When it comes to death piles, I think it requires a two-part step. Step one is what we just talked about, having a plan in place, knowing exactly what step these items have to go through next in order to get listed and removed from the death pile so that they become drafts and eventually become live listings. Part two is avoiding the death pile altogether. I have personally found that if I end up with a death pile, it's mostly filled with items I should have never picked up in the first place. Now, I find that there's typically two kinds of items that end up in my death pile. It's project items and it's low value items. These are both items I should have never picked up in the first place. However, I ended up with these items. So the best way to avoid ending up with a death pile is stop picking up the items that end up in your death pile. For me, projects is one of them. So that's the item that I say, oh, this item is broken, this item has stains, this item needs some parts replaced, I have to order the parts. Whatever it is, it's going to require an additional step outside of the normal process of listing. These items, more often than not, end up in a death pile. I say, well, that's going to take a lot of time. I have to order parts. I have to repair this. I have to watch a YouTube video on how to repair this. This clothing has stains. I'm going to have to sit and try to get these stains out of this clothing. Whatever those steps are, they take additional time. So I say, I'm going to deal with it another day. I'll add a whole bunch of that over there. And then one day I'm going to sit down and work through all my projects. Truth be told is I'm constantly finding better inventory, so why would I pick up this inventory that requires this additional time unless it's super valuable? That's the second kind of items that end up in this pile, is the low dollar items. These are the items that come in that I look up when I get home and I'm like, oh man, that item I shouldn't have picked up. It doesn't sell for as much as I thought. The sell-through rate isn't there. This is just a garbage item and I'm not excited to list it. I'm like, why would I waste my time listing this item? It's not going to sell. I'm going to lose money on it. And I get discouraged. Those are the other kind of items that end up in my death pile. These are items I should have never picked up in the first place. However, I brought it home and now I'm like, well, I'll deal with that another day. I'll do a day of garbage listings. Whatever it is, I put it off to the side and I say, hey, I would rather go list this video game that sells for $100 because it's easy. Let's be honest here. If I bring home a brand new sealed electronic item that sells for $100 and I paid $1 for it, I'm super excited to list that item. That item's getting listed today. However, if I bring home that big VCR DVD combo player that sells for $30 and I spent $5 on it and it's going to be big and heavy and it requires a half an hour of me testing it and messing around with it, that's the item that I say, well, I'll deal with that another day. So for me, the biggest way I've been able to avoid death pile syndrome is by avoiding picking up the death pile item. If I can avoid picking up these projects and these low dollar items and these mistakes, then I don't find myself with a death pile or at least as big of a death pile, because I know when I'm standing at the store, I say to myself, is this an item that I'm actually going to go home and order the parts? I'm going to actually test it. I'm going to actually clean it. I'm going to repair it. Whatever it is, I ask myself if I'm actually willing to do it for the amount of money I'm going to make. If I'm not actually willing to do it and like do it today and order the parts today or take it apart and fix it today, then it's probably going to get set to the side and I'm going to forget about it and I'm going to move on to better inventory. So then why would I ever pick it up in the first place? So what happens when I find myself with death pile syndrome? Well, for me, step one is to stop everything. This means I actually have a problem. There is a pile sitting out there of money. It's tying up capital, it's tying up space, and it's tying up space inside my head. This pile is something I walk by every day and I say, oh man, I need to deal with that. I'll get to it later. I might even be bringing home more stuff and saying, oh man, I need space, but then like over here, I'm just going to ignore the fact that I have this pile of unlisted stuff. Or I might say, hey man, I really need some more cash flow this week. I wish I could find some better stuff. Meanwhile, I ignore this pile of stuff over here that I actually paid something for. There's some kind of capital to put into this, whether it's time, because sometimes you get free items, but that still costs you time. So time is money, or it actually costs you hard money. And either way, that's stuff that can be turned into cash. So whatever it is, that pile is costing you something. So I find that if I end up with this pile over here, I need to stop everything. This simply means that I stop the problem. I stop going and sourcing until this pile is done. No more going to the thrift store. No more scrolling Facebook Marketplace. No more going to yard sales on the weekend until that pile is done. This is my punishment for making these mistakes to begin with. Because, like I said earlier, if I end up with a death pile, it's because I made some mistakes along the way. Whether it was picking up projects or picking up low dollar items, there was some bad decisions made, and now I have to deal with the repercussions, which means no more sourcing until I get this pile figured out. If you guys are enjoying this video, you're not going to want to miss next week's video, so be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. The next step to fixing death pile syndrome is to find the items I should have never bought in the first place. So typically in my death pile, there's some items in there that I will never list, whether it's items that are just going to require too much testing, repair, whatever, and they're not going to sell for parts, or they're low dollar items or items with no sell-through rate and they just don't fit within my store, so I don't want to list them. These items need to be removed from the death pile. This is the easy pickings. This is where I pull items out, and these items are either going to go to a yard sale pile or they're going to get donated. But they're going to be dealt with today. I'm not just going to say, well, I'll deal with it later, sometime I'll have a yard sale and then I'll work my way through the death pile. No, I'm going to put all of those items into my yard sale buckets, and I'm going to make sure that they're ready to go to the yard sale. If they're being donated, they get bagged up, and the next time I go to the thrift store, they're getting redonated back to the thrift store. Some people say you can't lose money, you have to sell everything, but that's not the truth. It's okay if you made a mistake to pull these items to the side and say, hey, these are items I'm never going to buy again. They cost me some time and money, but they're going to cost me more time and money the longer I hold on to them and the longer I try to convince myself that this was a good purchase. So instead of doing that, I would rather just pull these items out and deal with them. Whether that means I sell them at a yard sale for $1 and I take a loss, or I redonate them and I take the full loss. It doesn't matter, because I'm not investing more time, energy, effort, money into these items. I can now focus and move on to better things. The final step to dealing with DPS is to start listing items. I personally like using the Snowball Method. If you've never heard of Dave Ramsey, he's kind of a financial guy that helps people get out of debt. He has a method called the Snowball Method. He tells people that are in debt to use the Snowball Method, which simply means focus on the easy stuff first. So for debt, he says, don't worry about interest rates, just focus on the smallest loan and pay off that small loan, gain a little bit of momentum, and then work your way through the different loans going from smallest to biggest. His whole idea here is, even though you're paying a little more interest maybe on that bigger loan than the smaller loan, that if you pay off the smaller loan, you gain momentum to move into the next loan, and so on and so on. I like using this method when I'm working through a death pile. I pull out the easy list items first. In my death pile, there might be some items that just ended up there that aren't projects, that don't have stains, that don't require a bunch of cleaning, that aren't super low value items. These items might have just ended up in there because I ran out of time that day or whatever. Those are the items I'm going to start with. I want to build momentum. I want to grab as much as I can and get it listed right away so that I see this pile starting to shrink. Yes, that big VCR DVD combo over there that I said I was going to work on is a huge project, and maybe it's even going to make me some money. However, if I take today and I spend all my time on that, I'm ignoring all this easier stuff over here. I like to build that momentum first, and the way I do that is by starting with the easy stuff and working my way up to the harder stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to go back out sourcing until everything is dealt with. Every single item in that death pile has to be cleaned out. Whether that means it goes to a yard sale or donation pile, whether that means it gets listed today, or whether that means I order the parts and start working on the repair today. No matter why it ended up in that pile, it has to be dealt with today before I move on to going and buying more inventory. DPS, or death pile syndrome, is something most resellers will have to deal with at one point or another. We all become addicted to the shopping and the buying and the hunting, and we kind of ignore the other issues of listing, cleaning, testing, shipping, storage. We ignore all the actual work. So if you have this pile and you've been ignoring it and you're constantly thinking about it, or you're like, man, I wish I had the time to go get this stuff listed, I challenge you today to go out and grab some of that easy stuff and start working on it today. It's not going to get any better unless you start today. And if you enjoyed this video, I think you're going to love this one. So go ahead and give it a click.